Welcome to Taking Stock. I'm Amanda Lang. Coming up on the show, what does the state of the job market tell us about the economy and Canada's massive infrastructure gap and the opportunity it represents? Plus, to build a thriving biotech industry, you need some big anchors. That's all ahead. First, for the week that was in business, it's time for the briefs. The labor market expanded again in November, adding to gains in the previous 2 months. The report comes after recent signals from the economy delivered a mixed message. While exports showed strength thanks to energy, business and consumer spending was weak in November. On balance, the economy has weathered the trade storm better than many predicted, but the jobs market in trade-exposed sectors has been soft. Algoma Steel says it will lay off 1,000 workers by March of next year as it continues to struggle with the effects of U.S. tariffs. The steel company is transitioning its operations to electric arc furnace production. Layoffs were expected eventually. Algoma has received $500 million in government loans and said it will use those funds to transition to new markets. Quebec-based Laurentian Bank of Canada is selling itself in two parts: the retail and small banking and business acquired by National Bank of Canada, and the commercial lending and public shares going to Fairstone Bank. It values Laurentian at $1.9 billion. It's the third of four smaller banks in Canada to be acquired in the past 3 years, leaving only Equitable Bank as the remaining smaller bank in the market. Speaking of Equitable Bank, this week it acquired PC Financial for $800 million, giving it new heft in the marketplace and giving its customers access to PC's credit card platform and vice versa. Loblaws will retain a minority stake in PC Financial. The founder of Dell Computers, Michael Dell, and his wife Susan this week said they would donate $6.25 billion to fund the so-called Trump accounts in America, a deposit of $250 for 25 million children. It's one of the largest direct philanthropic gifts in history. The accounts are intended as investment vehicles, although it is not clear yet how they would function. Air Transat pilots have voted to approve a strike that could come as soon as next week. Negotiations with the 700 pilots have been going on for weeks. Air Transat is also facing pressure from its second-largest investor. Pierre Pelado is demanding a board shakeup and strategic review. And those are your business briefs. With the broad economy sending some mixed signals, what is the job market telling us about its resilience? Brendan Bernard is senior economist at Indeed.com. Brendan, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
So people, of course, probably care most about this in terms of, what's happening in the economy. We know there are pockets of weakness because of direct hits, steel, lumber. We've seen it happen, autos. Broadly, though, how would you characterize the market right now in terms of what you're seeing?
So a dynamic that's been pretty familiar over the past few years is Canada's low-churn labor market. Slow hiring, which is impacting job seekers. So we see across industries, just the number of new jobs started every month has been noticeably below the sort of pre-pandemic norms. And this has impacted job seekers in a variety of circumstances. At the same time, though, unlike previous downturns when we've seen the unemployment rate spike, the rise in the Canadian unemployment rate over the past few years, it's been quite gradual. And that's because of the second side of the low churn economy coin, which is slow layoffs. Layoff rates, the number of workers losing their jobs each month has been pretty low as a share of the labor force. And so those two trends have kind of offset each other, creating what has been a sort of gradual but relatively gradual weakening, but on the stable side of the labor market that's gotten a bit weaker over the past few years, but one that hasn't dramatically shifted in a certain direction, including even in 2025 when we obviously face this trade hit.
Yeah, interesting. It's very Canadian, I guess, that would take our time. We think it through before we make any sudden moves. Brendan,
it's not just Canada, the U.S. as well also has had a low churn labor market over the past few years.
Okay, well, that's very good for workers, right? That adds stability to their prospects. It's not that long ago, Brendan, though, that we were talking about it really being kind of the labor market in the sense that workers had the upper hand because there were so many unfilled positions out there. I don't think we're looking at that anymore, and it certainly doesn't feel like that anymore.
No, it definitely hasn't been the case. And that low churn labor market, it's been good for some folks in the job market, but not all. It's really a dual track labor market. Those currently employed in stable career track jobs, they've been doing fairly well over the past few years. We've seen, for instance, wage growth actually outpace inflation pretty steadily, both in 2025 and 2024, clawing back those losses from the surge in inflation earlier in the recovery. And so, and those folks are also benefiting from pretty solid job security. It's the job seekers, though, who are struggling in this slow churn labor market, finding it tougher to find new roles. And a big part of that is just the cyclical shift in the job market from what was just a great market for job seekers coming out of the pandemic. We had job openings through the roof, really across the economy. It was really a macroeconomic phenomenon that just employers across different regions, across different sectors were looking to hire. That's not the case anymore. We've got many areas of the economy where demand is actually quite weak, weaker than it was pre-pandemic, and that's impacting job seekers across a variety of circumstances. The challenges among Canadian youth are well known. Their unemployment rate was above 14% recently. And we're also seeing challenges among employed job seekers. The rate of job hopping has also been quite low over the past few months, and really few years since that temporary tight labor market we saw post-pandemic. And so, for folks comfortably employed, they're faring relatively well. It's those folks either trying to make a change or trying to jump back into new work who are finding it tougher.
So good to have you, Brendan. Really appreciate the update.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Brendan Bernard is senior economist at Indeed.com. Coming up, we can't build housing in Canada without the infrastructure to support it. Stay with us.